Good morning, everyone. My name is Jarla Hinchcliffe and I'm the Deputy Secretary for the Department of Parliamentary Services, and I'm the MC for you this morning's proceedings. I'd like to start by welcoming our distinguished guests, members and senators, building occupants who are here with us, very importantly, St Thomas Aquinas Primary School Choir, who have been entertaining us for the past few minutes beautifully. I would like to just say that they're from my neck of the woods in West Belconnen, and they have really done West Belconnen proud. We also have a range of other schools here with us today. We have St Aloysius College from Adelaide, we have Kelso Public School, and we also have homeschoolers with us as well, and to all the members of the public who are here with us today to celebrate National Flag Day. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the country on where we're meeting today has been a meeting place of the Ngunnawal and the Ngambri people for thousands of years. I also acknowledge the cultures of any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people present with us today. It's my pleasure to facilitate this morning's proceedings at Australian Parliament House to celebrate Australian National Flag Day, which takes place on the 3rd of September. On Flag Day, all Australians are encouraged to fly or display the Australian national flag. Here at Parliament House, we are celebrating a little bit early, but with what I imagine is the biggest flag hanging behind me, the main flag that flies atop of this building. At the end of the proceedings, I'm going to invite you to come and take the opportunity to have a photo, if you like, in front of the flag. But to begin with, I'm delighted to welcome St Thomas Aquinas again to lead us this time in the National Anthem. Thank you so much, St Thomas Aquinas. I'd now like to introduce the Honourable Milton Dick MP, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, to address us.
Well, thank you very much and good morning, everyone. And it is such a privilege to join you here today. And let's give our students another big round of applause for their beautiful singing. Well, lovers of our Australian flag, welcome to the celebration to recognise our Australian flag. I, of course, begin by acknowledging the traditional owners, the Ngunnawal and Ngambri peoples, whose lands we are meeting on today. And I thank members of the Canberran community that have come forward to join us today to also witness democracy in action as we currently leave to go to the House of Representatives, and we'll be back shortly.
We will see the Speaker back later on. But this is, as I said before, he's back.
It's great.
Right.
Good news, it's not a division, it's a quorum for members that are here at the moment. So, friends, welcome to Parliament House, and thank you for joining us on this special occasion. I want to acknowledge the people on stage with me today and thank representatives, in particular, Jala, the members of the Department of Parliamentary Services, for all of the hard work and that you've done to ensure that our flag that flies above us is currently here for everyone to witness. I'd like to acknowledge Mr Alan Pidgeon, AM, Chair of the Australian National Flag Association. Mr Pidgeon does so much great work promoting and enhancing the knowledge of our flag, but also the recognition that he does in advancing the cause of our flag. Thank you, Alan, for joining us today. And of course, to Mr Patrick Gorman, the Honourable Patrick Gorman, the Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister, Assistant Minister to the Attorney General and Assistant Minister for the Public Service, or I like to call him the unofficial Minister for our Australian flag. I also want to acknowledge Mrs Karen Andrews, the Federal Member for McPherson, and Ms Michelle Landry, the Member for Capricornia, who I know also love our flag just as much as I do. So, boys and girls, thank you for joining us today. We're here to not only have photos with the flag, but to recognise the importance and the symbol that it makes in our nation. And this year makes the 123rd anniversary that this flag was first flown over the dome of the Exhibition Building in Melbourne, which was then the seat of the federal government. And while we commemorate the anniversary, we also remember the great story of how the Australian flag was designed. In 1900, a design competition opened for the official flag of Australia. The competition saw over 30,000 entries from across the globe. The majority of the designs contained the Union Jack and the Southern Cross, but native animals were also popular. Some people submitted a picture of a kangaroo leaping through the Southern Cross constellation. Some people submitted native animals playing cricket. Obviously, these were not the winning designs, and the final design featured the Union Jack, a six-pointed star representing the 6 states and the 5 stars of the Southern Cross on a dark blue background. In 1908, a 7th point was added to the Commonwealth Star in recognition of the Commonwealth territories. And this is the design that has been flown throughout our country for the last 123 years and above our Parliament House 24 hours a day. The larger-than-life flag is one of Canberra's most recognisable landmarks. It's 12.8 metres by 6.4 metres high, and it's about the same size as a double-decker bus. It's changed once a month, and there are 2 staff members whose job it is to travel up the big steel flag mast, which is 81 metres tall. So it's days like today that we get to see the flag down here and people get to see your flag up close. And you can really appreciate when you see this flag just how big it is. And this brings me to a very exciting announcement. So it's my great pleasure today, for the first time, to announce that we'll be kicking off a brand new program, the Australian Parliament House Flag Roadshow. And our flag is the symbol of our democracy, and the massive, iconic Parliament House flag is something I believe our young Australians should see in real life. So we're bringing one of these flags that has flown above this building on the road. Under this program, members of Parliament will have the opportunity to bring one of our big flags that has flown here at Parliament House into one of their local schools. So this will be a really important way we can encourage students to develop an interest, an understanding and appreciation of our flag in a very practical way. So I'm so excited to see this flag on the road later this year, and I'm looking forward to members of Parliament putting in bids early so we can get the flags to their electorate. So I want to take this time to also highlight the official flags of our First Nations people, which fly along the Federation Mall and are on display behind me today. The Aboriginal flag was designed and created by artist Harold Thomas, a Luritja man from Central Australia and a member of the Stolen Generation. The Australian Aboriginal flag was first raised on the 8th of July 1971 and is made up of three colours: black, red and yellow. The designer, Harold Thomas, says the colours of the flag represent the Aboriginal people of Australia and their spiritual connection to the land. The Torres Strait Islander flag was designed by the late Bernard Namok from Thursday Island. The cultures and traditions of Torres Strait Islanders are strongly connected to the land, sea and sky, elements which are represented in the flag. The green panels at the top and bottom of the flag represent the land, and the central blue panel represents the sea. And the black lines divide the panels represents the Torres Strait Islander people. The centre of the flag shows a white dari, which is a dancer's headdress, which represents Torres Strait Islander culture. Underneath the dari is a white five-pointed star. The points of the star represent the 5 island groups in the Torres Strait, and the white symbolises peace. All three flags, the Australian, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander flags, fly proudly across Parliament. Thank you for celebrating National Flag Day here in Parliament House. And now I'm looking forward to having lots of photos and celebrating our flag.
Thank you so much, Mr Speaker. And I love to hear the Speaker talk about the flag with such passion and excitement, and his great announcement today about the roadshow. I'd now like to invite the Honourable Patrick Gorman MP, the Assistant Minister for the Prime Minister, the Assistant Minister to the Attorney-General and the Assistant Minister for the Public Service to address us.
Thank you very much. I too acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Ngunnawal and the Ngambri peoples, and we collectively pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. I would like to begin by acknowledging the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honourable Milton Dick MP. There has never been a Speaker who has been so passionate about Flag Day that not only does he want to, as he's just announced, take the flag on the road out to schools, but it is because of Speaker Dick that we have this flag behind us, off the top of the building, now here for us all to get a photo with. Mr Speaker, thank you very much for your commitment to Flag Day. I'd like to acknowledge my fellow parliamentarians. I note Michelle Laundrie, Karen Andrews, Sophie Scomps is here. I spy David Gillespie, and I want to give a special acknowledgement to Karina Garland, who has had to run off to the chamber, but is I am the minister responsible for flags, but she is the MP responsible for making sure we have flags, because Flag World, that produces the flags, is in her electorate. I acknowledge my friend Alan Pidgeon, AM, Chair of the Australian National Flag Association, Charlie Hinchcliffe, Deputy Secretary. Thank you to you and your team for making sure this flag flies so proudly above this building. The wonderful St Thomas Aquinas Primary School Choir, thank you for leading us in song. Welcome to all students and Australians one and all. This flag is a unique symbol of our democracy. As the Speaker outlined, it was designed through a nationwide competition, and further, the Australian Flags Act of 1953 protects it from being changed other than by a vote of the Australian people. Its design is owned by all of us. And I'd also note that as the Minister responsible for the Flags Act of 1953, you can imagine the challenge that for the first 50 years of Australia having a flag, it was not protected by legislation. It just was. And the reason that it wasn't protected by legislation is that the bills that we pass in Parliament cannot contain photos. They cannot contain pictures. They must all be done in written word. So you can imagine the poor parliamentarians who are trying to draft a bill, and I challenge the students to think of this, to be able to write a description of the flag so that it was always perfectly reproduced in every instance and enshrined in legislation. This flag is big. It's big enough to fit 11,338 Olympic gold medals on it. We were successful, but we weren't that quite successful. This flag weighs 22 kilograms, which is the same weight as 44 Olympic medals. And to think about how tall it is, if you think about how high it is to the top of that flagpole on top of this building, that flagpole is 8 times the height of the goalposts at the MCG, or 40 times the height of a netball ring. It therefore takes a very specially trained team to make sure that this flag can fly proudly above this building 365 days a year. And for that, I want to thank the Department of Parliamentary Services and the very skilled and fearless team who make sure that it flies on top of this building. It is not only our flag, but it is a beautiful flag. It's a symbol of our democracy. It's a symbol of the Parliament. It's a symbol of our shared values as Australians. And when it was first introduced in the Flags Bill of 1953, H.V. Doc Evatt christened it as such. He said, "It was a very beautiful flag, probably the most beautiful flag in the world." Whether or not you agree is up to you, but what we can all agree on is that this flag is a symbol of our Australian unity, and we will celebrate it on the 3rd of September for Flag Day. September is our most patriotic month. We start on 1 September with Wattle Day, we go to 3 September with Flag Day, 17 September with Citizenship Day, and most importantly, 28 September with the AFL Grand Final. It's a very patriotic day, and if I could just finish where I began, which is to thank the Speaker of the House of Representatives for being such an enthusiastic supporter of Flag Day, but also making sure that he reminds us all that this is a day we can all celebrate in our own way on the 3rd of September. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Assistant Minister, and I particularly love that you will also be able to add in some Olympics flair to our day as well, as we all get ready for the Paralympics, which starts soon. I'd now like to introduce Mr Alan Pidgeon AM, the Chair of the National Flag Association and the President of the Queensland Office, who I had the privilege of meeting this morning, to come and address us. Mr Pidgeon.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. I'd like to echo Mr Gorman's comments in thanking the Speaker for this wonderful initiative. I think this is the 3rd year you've displayed the giant flag here in the Great Hall, and it gives people a chance to see it up close and personal, and it really makes an impact. But not only this, but the event today and all the work done by you and the team at Parliament House is just wonderful, and it's a thrill to be part of this because Australians aren't so good at acknowledging our history. We actually lost the very first flag that was flown over the Royal Exhibition Building in Melbourne on the 3rd of September 1901, following the world's first ever flag design competition. It somehow was given to a museum or somewhere and has disappeared. We're still looking for it. But this is great to acknowledge our history and the 123rd anniversary of our flag. As was mentioned, we were so proud when it flew so many times over the victory podium in Paris at the Olympics. And it makes you wonder, though, where did this design come from? And as our previous speakers had said, Australians do things differently. Other countries that became incorporated as a nation and needed a flag, the powers that be went into a back room, talked among themselves, came out and said, "Here's your flag, enjoy it, everyone." In Australia, we gave everyone a go. What an Australian thing to do. And it was, as I said, the world's first ever flag design competition, and 1% of the Australian population in 1901 put in entries. And that took a lot more effort than just clicking like on your computer. You actually had to send a design off to have it considered. And as was mentioned, on the 3rd of September, the winning design was unveiled, and actually 5 people tied because they had similar concept for our flag design. So there were 5 winners, and the best known of them is a schoolboy from Melbourne. Who here is aged 14 years old? If you have brothers or sisters aged 14 years old, you can go home and tell them tonight that someone their age was one of the designers of our flag, one of the 5 winners of the world's first ever flag design competition. As has been pointed out, there are many flags of Australia, but only one Australian national flag. and we celebrate its birthday on September 3 because that's the day it was first flown. And I'm hoping that members and senators who are here and who hear about this event might go back to their electorate and have a celebration on September 3, go to a school or have some other special flag raising to let Australians know our flag is 123 years old. There's not too many institutions in Australia that have that wonderful history, and certainly not one that symbolises our nation in the way it does. So once again, it's a delight to be here to celebrate this special anniversary. For 123 years, that's a lot of candles and a lot of celebrations, so we're kicking off the celebration season today. We have events all across the country leading up, of course, to Flag Day on the 3rd of September, where we hope that you all will celebrate, even perhaps by just wearing or displaying a flag, or just trying to find more about the unique and inspiring story of our national flag. Thank you so much, and happy Flag Day.
Thank you so much, Mr Pigeon. It is delightful to have you here with us today. Thank you for making the journey to be with us. Mr Pigeon just talked about the celebration of the flag, which is absolutely what we are just about to do, and what better way to celebrate than with a cake. And we have a fantastic cake with the flag on it here, and I'd like to invite our official party, the Speaker, the Assistant Minister and Mr Pigeon to come and stand near the cake, and we're going to take a couple of official photos. We'll get some photos with the cake and then.
That's terrific. Thank you.
You can invite the members and senators to come forward as well. Let's get in here, and we'll look first to the fellow straight down the barrel.
That concludes our official celebrations. Please stay with us and have some flag cake, or come and have a photo in front of the flag. Have a lovely flag celebration day. Thank you, everyone.